Hey, this is your girl, Ashley Michelle, and welcome to the Ladies Room podcast. We have our usual squad. We got Mrs. Understanding, we got our girl, Cannon Hill, we got Mrs. Jovo to you, and we have Mr. Darwin Hill on the show tonight. I am so excited. We missed y'all last week, but we are back and we have some great topics lined up. For those of you who are new to our channel, we talk about everything concerning women, society, marriage, love, dating, and relationships, parenting, mental health, and so much more. If you are not joined with us or connected with us on Facebook, join our Facebook account. It's called the Ladies Room Group Chat. We will link it in the comment section later. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and share with some friends. We talk about some good stuff and we're shedding light on some things that are missing in current conversations on social media. So, how y'all doing today? Y'all doing good?
We
Doing
good.
good.
We good.
Yep, I'm good.
All right. So let's go ahead. We like to jump right in. All right. So our first topic has to do with Kanye West. The question is there ever a time a parent should keep their children from the other parent? So you all may know that Kanye West has been in the news for some family drama. And one of his complaints has been that Kim Kardashian, his former wife, they are officially divorced, correct? They're not.
I think they just separated.
Okay, so his wife that he separated from supposedly is keeping the kids from him. And we are all somewhat familiar with the shenanigans of Kanye West. And so to me, it just brings about a thought about parenting and if there's ever a time one parent should keep their children away from the other parent. So let's go ahead and dive in. Who likes to share their thoughts first?
I can kick it off. I kick it off. I mean, I think it's pretty it's pretty much common sense that there are times when parents should be kept away from children, and that's not even just by like one parent to the other parent, but that could be any parent. That could be all the parents. That could be whatever. Like just because people have children or because somebody fertilizes an egg and then somebody brings a pregnancy to term does not mean that they are fit to parent children or that they are the safest or the best place for children to be or to be around. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, people are just people, and people are capable of biologically having children by and large. So you don't need any type of special skill or training or personality or anything in order to bring children into the world. So you have all different types of people, and everyone is not fit to properly take care of children or should not be around children. So yes, absolutely times when that should happen. And in those instances, when people have like addiction issues or mental health issues, depending if it's like turns to violence or something like that, or
Mhm.
just different things that just make them unfit for them to be in the care of children or to have children in their care. Then yeah, that's when I think that should be done, not just because somebody doesn't like what the other parent is doing or how they're raising a kid, but in instances where it's actually an unfit environment.
Okay. Or an unsafe environment, right? Well, that would be unfit, but that's just one aspect of being unfit. So what would you say to people who would say, well, why would you have a kid with a person who has demonstrated some mental health issues or
Because
any evidence that they may be violent?
I would say exactly what I just said, because biologically we're capable of having children and you don't have to do anything outside of having sex in order for that to happen. So, I mean, I I don't think most people plan to have children in poor situations or bad situations. I think that that's just a thing that can happen because you are able to have a child and without thinking about it. You can have a child without thinking about it at all. You can have a child
Mhm.
without planning to. So since that exists, then I mean that's really kind of a ridiculous question. Why would you have? Yeah, of course. Like why would people do any of the stuff that happens? You know what I mean? Like people say, why would you become a drug addict? Why would you do? Like it's a lot of different reasons, you know. So to me, that's just kind of a ridiculous rabbit hole that we go down. We like, well, why would you even do that? And it's like, okay, that's not
well, people
helpful.
make bad decisions all the time, right? But
Well,
that
I
doesn't
mean,
mean
yeah,
that
like,
the kids
but
should suffer.
and then, but even to just say like it's a bad decision, we could say it's irresponsible, or we could like that could be instances where it's not even irresponsible. Maybe some of these things could have taken place or could have came out after and later. You know what I'm saying? It's just. It's just I'm just saying it's not a helpful conversation in that regard, right? Now, if you personally know someone and you know the choices that they individually are making and what their options are, then yes, that's absolutely a conversation you can have on an individual level with people to say, well, why would you do XYZ? But as far as a general conversation, to me, it's just kind of a waste of conversation. Like for what? Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you kill somebody? Like, why would a lot of stuff? Like, why are we asking that? You know?
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. What do you all think? Who likes to chime in?
I think it's the reality of being intentional. It's not like Kanye didn't have any signs of, I think he said he's bipolar or suffers from bipolar disorder. So it's not like she didn't have any signs. It's not like she was unaware. If you choose to get with somebody like this, these are I think it's manic or depressive episodes. This might be a part of your reality. You know, this is what you pick. Now, to Kenny's point, he may not need to be around the children for a while. He may need to take like a sabbatical. That's between them and their marriage. But if they're going to dissolve all of it, then that's, you know, up to, I guess, lawyers and the family court. But I think, you know, this is the reality of mental health. And that's why it's so important for men to promote good mental health, because for some people like Kanye who don't have the money, this is their reality. So you need to go get help. You need to make sure you take your medication. And if we don't have these conversations from Kanye on down, it's just going to keep repeating.
Okay. What do you think, Darwin?
I think it's very necessary to keep children away from certain parents. Every parent is not stable. It's a lot of different reasons why you should keep a child away from a father or a mother, whatever the case may be. So just as long as it's a genuine reason, it's not nothing vindictive, and no controlling issues involved with it, and you're just looking out for the kid's best interest, I think it's okay. And and as far as the why do people do it, I think before you have kids, right, you have a level of selfishness for yourself, right? And you all you see is what you want and what you want to do, and how can you get it? And once you have that kid, you start looking at life differently, right? Your level of protection goes from 10 all the way to 100 of how you want to live your life. So a lot of things that you probably wasn't worried about before you had the kid, you start to worry about that because your main goal is to protect that child. So all the signs that you wasn't picking up on from a potential lover, it was just because you was looking at your selfishness first. You was thinking about yourself first, and not even thinking about what the case at hand is because you just want either love and attention or affection that you never was getting from a parent, or you just after some money, or you want some status, or whatever the case may be. Your selfishness kicked in. But after you had that kid, your mindset changes. Now you're thinking about like, how can I better myself for this child? So I think that's the main reason why people don't, when you ask a person, well, why did you do it? Like they didn't have their thought process was not the same before the child. So now their thought process is to protect the child. Now they're thinking about all these things like, oh no, I got to keep my child safe. I got to keep my child out of this person's grasp, even if it is the father or the mother. So I think that's one big reason why, people do foolish things, because their mind is just not set to think that way at the time.
And it really, you can't go back if you're already in the situation. You know, Cannon was pretty much speaking to that. You can't go back, right? So there is no point in having the discussion about, well, why would she have a kid with him? You know, there's just no point in having that discussion. People make mistakes all the time when it comes to when they have kids and with whom they have kids. I think it's more so just a lesson for other people to be careful about who they have their children with. But if you're already in that situation, there's really nothing you could do besides whatever is best for the kids, right? I think that there were several signs or many signs that Kanye West has some mental issues and that he was emotionally unstable even before they got married. You know, I'm going to admit I watched the show, y'all. I watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians for a long time. I stopped like probably season 8 or something, but I used to watch it for a long time. And I remember before Kim Kardashian married Kanye West that I could see that their marriage was not going to make it. And
yeah.
I think that, you know, there were some signs that he probably wasn't the one to settle down with and have a family with. But at this point in time, what can you do besides what is best for the children? There are some people who
Mhm.
say Kanye West is not mentally unstable or emotionally unstable and that he's just a genius, but I definitely disagree.
I I do as well.
Just to
I
say,
do as well.
I don't think he has done anything as of right now to say he shouldn't be around the kids, but we can see the red flags and what his actions can lead to. But as of right now, I just think he's, he's mad, he's angry, he's lost some control and he's trying to get it back and he's doing it very immaturely, but I think it's going to escalate. It hasn't got to the point where I don't think any courts would take the kids from him right now, but we do see the red flags, and when something happens, we're going to look back at this point and be like, it all started at that point right there. So that's
Yeah.
something to look forward to. We just have to keep a close eye on the situation. And it's hard because you never know when someone is going to snap out, and you never know what's going to trigger somebody. So, I mean, it's a tough situation, and I don't think nobody can. We ain't nobody, ain't no fortune tellers around, and all you can go off is past history and what people has exhibit. And sometimes
Yeah.
you're right, and sometimes you're wrong. But most of the times when you see things like this and his behavior and all the things that he's been saying, and he's not taking his medicine. I don't know if all the accusations is true. I don't really get into all the gossip and stuff, but the things that he's saying himself is signs of that'll trigger me and be like, I got to keep my child safe. I got to do what I can. And if the courts just make me have to let my child see this parent, then I have to go with it. But I would do anything I can to keep a close eye on that situation, because it looks like it's going to be a long ride, and I don't even like to take up for the Kardashians or whatever, but she asked for it, and he asked for it too. So it's just a sad situation for the kids.
Well, see, I guess for me, the signs have been there. When you have somebody who's died, he got diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2016, and so 2016, that's 4 or 5, 6 years ago, right? 6 years ago, roughly. When you have somebody who is saying that he experiences mania, he actually said in several interviews that he is not always medicated. He actually said last year in an interview that sometimes when for creative purposes, he purposely goes off of his medication to be more creative. And anybody who's watching this that works in mental health or works in the medical field, when you talk about psychotropic medication that's prescribed to someone for a mental health disorder, getting off of that medication is not something that happens with the snap of a finger. Okay. There is medical monitoring that needs to happen. There is, professionals that need to be involved in the equation. You can't just stop taking medication for mania or for anxiety or for any mental health mental health disorder just like that because you don't feel like taking your medication today. There are consequences to that. that could be, medical consequences for Kanye, obviously, mental and psychological consequences for him. So that alone is a reason for Kim to be a little bit more cautious about having him unsupervised with the children. I think it's one thing when you guys are together and you're able to you're living in the same dwelling, you're in the same environment, and you're able to monitor. But to Kanye's defense, or however you want to put it, and just like I think somebody else just said on the panel, she knew Kanye had bipolar disorder. And this is where, and I've counseled people on this before, family members of people with mental illness and substance use issues. You can't just jump into this relationship thinking that you don't have a part in their care. Not gonna happen. He has bipolar disorder, okay? And society likes to, everybody bipolar when they X, Y, and Z. Well, a doctor diagnosed Kanye West in 2016. He indeed has it. And when you're not medicated, when you do not have the consistency in treatment, there are gonna be some consequences. So as a mom, I don't think I'd feel comfortable with him with the kids alone if he's in and out of meds, if he's not being treated properly. The second part of this is, what is their co-parenting plan? Because you're seeing your child splashed all across social media. Kim won't see Kanye. I think they got a picture of North on the banner of, okay, she won't let him see the kids, and people turning it into a race issue and all these things. Obviously, there's no child advocate involved. Like, I really want to hold Kim accountable in this moment. How much more? Because and Kim's life history proves this, because her mom did it to her too, where you're using the exposure of your children to gain this social clout, And I know they're in the public eye, and I know it's bound to happen, but Kim got resources. She got money. How about we just lay low for a little while so that we can kind of come up with a co-parenting plan, get Kanye some help, and then we regroup and see, like, what is the goal? Because a lot of adults enter this type of situation, they want what's best for them. They forget about what's best for the kids. So is this really best? Do North need to be flipping through her little kid TikTok or her kid Instagram account? Is it her, him, North? Okay. Yeah. Do the kids need to be flipping through social media, seeing their faces and their father's faces blasted everywhere saying he's too mentally ill to take care of us? Like, where will Kim draw the line and say, okay, we need to get out the public eye and do some mediation?
I also think it's fair that that's not the narrative though that's happening right now. Kanye is actually the one putting out there saying that she won't let him see the kids and all this other stuff.
Right.
We don't necessarily even know if that's accurate, and nobody said like he can't see the kids because he's mentally unstable. Like, nobody's said that yet. I think that, like, us just making opinions about it is more so based on like his erratic behavior in the media. And so, to be fair, and I do not need to be fair to the Kardashians, but at all. But he did get diagnosed in 2016. That was after they got married, so maybe she didn't know. And the other part, I do agree with you that I mean, they're both like the same kind of people. Like, they in the media, like they use all of this stuff. So yeah, I think that they, that this is just par for the course for the type of stuff that they do anyway. Like, all of their business is always splashed all over social media. I don't necessarily know if she would necessarily use her kids in that particular way, but
well, I mean, I don't know.
He's the one that's been publicizing.
Yeah,
right. I don't know.
The one doing all of this.
I don't know, because I don't know, because life history. Go back to the Kardashian family. Let's go back to the 90s. Okay?
No, I only said that because she's not the one doing it. He's the one doing all of this. Like, he like she wasn't even saying anything, and she's not really saying much. Like, he's the one who keep like posting all their private text messages, and he the one doing all of this stuff. So
I hope she stands firm in doing that, because she is a product of a mom who probably would have done the opposite. You know, yeah, I know Kris Kardashian is a wonderful manager in Hollywood right now, but she was that mom with the pageants and the I'm gonna live through my kids, and it worked financially. It worked for her. You know, she cashed out on all of them, not just one, not just two, all of them. Even Rob, she cashed out on his heartbreaks and his up and down with the weight and all of that stuff with that show. You know, and Ashley, I know you love the show. I've had issues with that show for years because when you sit back
Yeah,
and
it
think
doesn't mean
about it,
I agree with
yeah,
everything, but
yeah,
I used to
yeah.
watch.
I just hope that she doesn't follow in the path of her mom, you know, because her mother is queen of I'm gonna use these kids and not make it look like I'm using my children, you know. So
It doesn't seem
um
like she's doing that though. I've seen it. Well, when she had her first kid, saw a little bit of that, but in this situation, it doesn't seem to be so, and it's probably because she knows she'll get a lot of criticism about this whole situation,
mhm,
especially when he's claiming that she's keeping him from the kids. So you know, I'm with
yeah,
you. Like, given their history, it seems like they would just do anything and publicize anything for ratings and views and for money, right?
right.
But in this situation, it seems like Kanye is the one putting out a lot of their family issues.
And
And
I
I
want
don't
to
know
talk
if
to
we can blame her for that one.
Right.
I want to talk to all the guys that's like taking up for Kanye and saying that's wrong, and they not really, you know, taking it serious about what he's saying and the things he's doing, and how erratic and how mad and upset he may be, and with this bipolar thing going on, anything can happen, right? And I just remember when I went through the same situation, and my son was 2 months old when my when his mother tried to take him from me, and I went to daycare trying to get him. They wouldn't let me see him. You know, I'm going to her house to try to get him. You know, I'm just pissed off. You know what I'm saying? So I'm actually kicking in doors to get my son. Like, boom, kicking the door, where he at? You know what I'm saying? Just getting locked up every other day, fighting family members, all types of things, right? And it was to a point where I had thoughts in my head on what I would do to her. You know, because I that's how strongly I love my kid. But you know, sometimes you have to take a step back and look at other alternatives. You know, the only alternative is not to go shoot up the place and take your kid. You know, and a lot of these other
Oh, we missed you. We can't hear you.
hello,
There we go.
Okay,
you,
we hear you.
y'all can hear me.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
and it's a lot of. Can y'all hear me?
Hmm.
It's a lot of alternatives that these guys do, but they just don't want to do it because a lot of guys has been discouraged about the court system, and a lot of guys just don't even really care that much to get their kid to go through that trouble like they say they do. And so you know, it was, you know, I don't know what clicked in me to just say calm down, don't do this, just chill back and take it the legal route. And so
Mhm.
I get tired of when guys say she won't let me see the kid, she won't let me see the kid. But what have you done to see the kid? You know, a woman
Right.
cannot really stop you from seeing a kid. Yes, in that moment she can deny you to see the kid, but overall, if you go and get your rights and take the necessary steps, you're going to get your kid if you're not erratic, violent, into all types of troubles and stuff like that. You know, it's nothing that she can do. And like you said, this Kanye is rich. He has good lawyers. I'm pretty sure he can go the legal route and he can get his kid. Now, if he wants to, you know, I heard some accusations about him threatening her life and stuff like that. I don't know if it's true. It might be. I know I've done it when I was mad and my baby mother. You know, and guys do it and then they deny and say I didn't, you know. But it happens. You were mad. That's your kid. You love your kid. I mean, if you, why else would you threaten somebody? I mean, that's the only reason I ever threatened somebody's life is because my kid and was really serious about doing something. So I'm pretty sure that probably happened. I know, you know, I don't know, but I would say it did happen. But you have to, if he did say that, you have to know that words do lead to action. And for all the
Mhm.
guys that saying it's not a big deal, he should just see his kid, stuff like that. Like, no, this is very serious. You know, it might not look
Mhm.
serious right now, but when something bad happens at the end, then everybody will know.
Right. I mean, we just talked about this on the show a few weeks ago. We saw it happen on Facebook Live, right? We saw it. We
Can't
saw
hear you.
it. Oh,
Yeah,
can
we
you hear
saw it
me?
happen. And then when
Mhm.
something bad happens or extreme happens, then people will
Right.
question the parents or the parent that was not the culprit and say, well, why did you allow this to happen? It's like a really sticky situation.
Mhm.
It's just one of those situations where you got to keep people out your business because everybody's going to have something to say about it.
Right.
Only they really know what is really happening, um, and we don't know. Like, I know, Darren, you said that nothing really bad has happened yet, but we don't really know. And then there were headlines saying that he threatened her and he did this and he did that, but we don't even know if that's true. Like, people, we're like looking from the outside in, and that's whether
Right.
you're a celebrity or not, people look from the outside in. But I think
Right.
everybody would agree that in any situation, you got to do what's best for the children, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Is there anybody
Yeah.
who wants to give some last thoughts on this topic?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, the definition for co-parenting not only
Touch
includes
something?
sharing custody, but it
What you
also
mean? Did I
includes
touch something? What you mean?
sharing
Can
the
y'all hear me?
You're not muted. Yeah.
Okay, go
the
ahead.
definition of co-parenting is not only sharing custody, it also includes sharing the care of a child. And I think that some guys kind of, lean into what Darwin said. And I think Cannon has talked about this on the show too. A lot of people who want to co-parent, are they really going to be dedicated to also the care of the child? You know,
Mhm.
when we look at what we do know about Kanye, the part that, I spoke about initially, he's been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and publicly goes into interviews saying that he is inconsistent with his recommended treatment. But you want to co-parent with your kid.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm just saying, those are my final thoughts. Like, for everybody who's defending him, we want, nobody wants any child to be alienated from their parent. But look at the
Right.
situation. Look at what we actually know. He has gone on record saying that he's inconsistent with his mental health treatment on purpose. He doesn't take medication. He knows the signs of his manic episodes. If he didn't, he wouldn't talk about having manic episodes. And then you want to co-parent or see your child, that doesn't just include custody, that includes care as well. Are you capable of taking care of kids? You barely take care of yourself.
I agree. And it puts them at danger. I certainly agree.
Right.
I did want to welcome anyone to chime in on this topic. You can call in at 574-943-5971. Again, for those of you who are just tuning in, we are the ladies' room. And yes, gentlemen are welcome, but we talk about many things pertaining to women, society, love, dating, sex, relationships, parenting, divorce, mental health, so many different things. And we would love to hear from you. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next topic. The next topic is an interesting one. Keira Sheard, should married women follow her example? For those of you who do not know, Keira Sheard is a gospel singer, and she was recently in headlines about her stance on friends and how close they should be to her husband. Um, she does not allow her girlfriends to sleep in her house when they visit her because she doesn't want them near her husband. So those are her boundaries. I don't know if they were her boundaries alone or if they were boundaries that she and her husband decided on, but that is something that she has asserted. I think I've heard it before from her, and I want to know what you all have to say. So the question is again, should married women follow her example? I'm gonna be quiet on this one, y'all, because I'm not familiar with it. So I just want to hear what you have to say.
Ooh. I like what you said about boundaries. I like what you said about boundaries because everybody's marriage is different. Again, different strokes for different folks. So if your husband or your friends have a tendency to dibble and dabble in each other's honey pot, and this is the boundary that y'all are put up, fine, I guess. I don't know. It's the makes them part that just kind of throws me off. Like it's one thing to say I don't have enough space, or it's too many of y'all. I don't want my husband to feel uncomfortable. I want him to still feel able to walk around in his underwear, whatever the case may be. But to say, I make them stay at a hotel, it just rubbed me the wrong way. It's the forced part. I don't know, but I don't know who these girlfriends are, how many of them come at a time. I don't know what they're doing, their attitude. I don't know. Whew, I don't know, guys. That's a tough one.
All right. What do you think, Mrs. Drobo?
Well, when I first got married, this was kind of one of my staples. Like I was a newlywed wife, and at the time, I believed that to keep anything from happening, we ain't gonna have no sleepovers. You come visit, hey girl, and we'll hang out or whatever. But you need to find your own space. That's what I held true for a very, very long time. Now that I've been married for a while, got a kid, family is always in and out. Close friends are always in and out. I'm part of a sorority, so I'm trying to think of the last time I actually had a soror sleep over at my house. It's been many, many years. I think that there are single women who don't get offended by what Keira Sheard said. And then I think there are women who, like the way that she said it, oh, you got to get a room though. It's like, okay. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way too, Raven. But on the flip side of
Yeah,
it, being married, I understand. And it's not so much that I don't trust my husband. It's not so much that I don't trust her. It's just it's a boundary thing. You know, that's what it was for me in the beginning. Um, I think should married women follow her example? I think married women should follow boundaries that work for them. I've said it on the show so many times. How you were in, well, at least I can speak for myself. How I was in years 1, 2, and 3 of marriage. I know I'm completely different now. Marriages go through phases. They go through different things. That was just one for us. You know, um, we have guests now, like one of my husband's friends. He visits frequently. No issues. It's just boundaries. I make sure they have a nice little guest space, preferably on the other side of the house. We'll share a meal, whatever. I just think that it comes with age and it comes with experience. Now, on the flip side of that, your life history and how you live and what you do at a certain period in your life, that also impacts your decision making. Because who knows, Miss Shear could have been in college or high school. Raven has talked about it before. Some of them stereotypes about PK kids is true. Some of them are with certain folks, but that could apply to anybody. She might have had some experience where she hung out with some girls who they didn't see boundaries. And so maybe she experienced someone hitting on her now husband. Maybe she experienced someone hitting on her boyfriend. It just really, really depends. On the circumstances. So people base their decisions around that. You know. So early in my marriage, that probably was one of my rules. Now, and not so much.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Did you? I'm sorry.
I wanted to
No,
ask.
no, no.
I wanted to ask, what do you think changed it? But also, I wanted to put out there that Kiara Sheard and her husband have been in headlines before, and she's been in multiple interviews about how her husband has repeatedly cheated on her. Uh,
Mm,
so when I read it the first time, I was like, "Oh, okay, no big deal." Those are her boundaries, and I could see women doing that, like even if they're not married. I mean, even if they are married and they have a great relationship. Like that's just their boundary. But just knowing what I know about their background, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if that's about the friends as much as it is about the husband because
Right.
he's
Yeah.
See, and see
cheating
how,
a
so there
lot.
again, there's that lifestyle factor, that life history factor that, okay, now there's a reason behind this opinion or this particular preference because she's been through infidelity in her marriage, you know. And let's just remember this too. She's a woman of faith. And, and she comes from a family, if you know who her father and her mother are, I think her grandparents, they were married for like 50 something years. They come from a lineage of all these long marriages in the church. So people do what they learn. Don't necessarily mean it's the right thing to do, but people do what they've seen, throughout their life. So that kind of explains why she said what she said a little bit. Now for me, I had my own reasons based on, what I heard my grandmama and them say, like her. And plus, I mean, I rock with, I'm that friend that I know you, I love you, but when I know your habits, I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna be like, nah, like I got friends, we can kick it, but nah, boo, you can't hold my wallet. I got friends, we can kick it, but because people are not perfect. That's just me. People are not perfect. So, I think about how old I was when I got married, what I was into around that time. I could see myself saying something like that. But now,
Okay.
come
What were you
on.
gonna say, Cannon?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely about boundaries, and it definitely is a boundary, and everyone has to set their own boundary, right? But when it comes to like a blanket rule like that, to me that means that only falls under a couple categories, right? And like you said, you don't trust your husband. No, you don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, I trust my husband, but I just no, you don't. And I mean, just admit it. Just be like, nah, I don't trust it. That's fine. The second one, you don't trust the friends that you hang around with. I mean, if you don't, just say you don't. Like, it's fine. Like, my thing is, like, let's just call a spade because we always try to backtrack and be like, that's not really what it's like. That's literally exactly what it is, right? You don't trust the friends you hang around. You don't trust your husband, and it could be based off experience with friends, exes, that hood, whatever. But that's literally what that is. And then there's also a third option where it could just be this is to me the more innocuous option where it's like you just have a boundary because you're just like, well, if I just have this one standard boundary, I don't even have to concern myself with like, oh, they're hanging around too much or they spending the night too many nights and they talking, they talking over time and now they really getting real friendly and chummy around each other. Because that type of stuff that's the type of stuff happens, I think, a lot more often than just somebody came in town one night and spent the night. And unless you have, like I say, some shady people that you just can't have around you like that, like your husband or whatever, then it's not like they just gonna come in town one night and all of a sudden just bust out. Is that kind of stuff normally happens when I feel like the boundary isn't set and maybe people are spending too much time in close proximity to each other. That can happen, right? And I think that that's the more common situation that happens, and some people just have a blanket standard rule like, nah, I ain't even finna try to figure it out. It ain't even gonna be possibility it's gonna happen late because I ain't even finna do that, right? But that's just, you have to just be honest about that. That's what you're doing, right? And so for me, it's like the people that I have come to my house, I trust them a lot. If I'm gonna like you have different types of friends, or you have different friends, to Miss Jovo's point. So yeah, I have some people that I may be associates with that I don't know like that. Then no, you're not gonna come and spend a night at my house. Girl, go get a room, girl. Okay, whatever. But like my good friends, like I trust them with my kids. Like I'm gonna be like, nah, you can't spend a night because no. And if I have to do all of that, then I mean, it's just is what it is, regardless. Like I'm not about to. My whole thing is, if I have to do all of that to that extent, then that type of stuff is what it is. It's gonna happen regardless. Like I'm not about to be sitting up here trying to monitor and manage like, oh, this person can't spend a night because they're of the opposite sex. Like my husband has friends of the opposite sex, and so do I, and they've both spent the night at our house before. Like if somebody really wants to, like I said, do things like that, they're going to do it. So it's like just for me, I do have a lot of boundaries, right? But my boundaries are just set up a little bit differently. It's not blanket. Like I do my boundaries case by case. I have certain boundaries with different people, not just a standard boundary with everybody. Because I also wouldn't expect my really, really close friends to like treat me the same way. Like, nah, girl, you can't stay here because my husband here. I'm gonna be like, girl, if you don't get your I don't want your husband. Like, you better go sit down somewhere. Like, never in a million years. Like, but my really close friends, I would expect them to engage with me that way because I would engage with them that way because that's the trust level that we have. Now, that's not to say that your trust could never be, betrayed, but I mean that's just what it is. And if you choose to live in a space of fear and not trusting anybody, then that's okay too. But that's just not my thing. Like I choose to trust the people that I want to be able to trust. Now, if they betray my trust, that's just what it is. But I'm not gonna live in fear for everything. Some people I'm gonna trust, and that's just what it is.
Raven, would you have a friend in your life? Like a friend. I'm not talking about an acquaintance. A friend in your life that you think would even do that. Would you even have a friend that would do that?
Oh, well, I was about to chime in actually to Miss Jovo's point, or and Miss Cannon's point. Um, if somebody wants your man, they're gonna try and get your man, whether they're a hoe, not a hoe, whether they're a good girl, not a good, whatever the case may be. If they want it, they're gonna try it anyway. You can put up a million boundaries, but that's something they're gonna press. They're gonna press it. So no, I mean, but if they decide to take a slut walk, I mean, I still wouldn't say you can't come around. Of course, I would expect you to be mentally out of whatever space that you took to take that slut walk. But I wouldn't then, like, if you come out of that space and you're, I guess, I mean, I don't know, I want to say back to normal, but if you're not being unnecessarily sexually promiscuous for no reason and you're just, I don't know, everybody go through things, whatever. Life is long. Like, come on now. I don't. I've had friends. We've had like whole big hoorahs at vacation homes, and hey, man, sometimes a titty might pop out. Everybody can still be friends afterward. I'm serious. Everybody can still be friends afterward. It doesn't have to turn into something crazy. Life is long, man. Life is
Okay,
long. You can't stop being friends.
what do you think, Darwin?
Well, I think if I gotta have if I gotta think that if I have to have boundaries for my wife or my friend, then they're not gonna be my wife or my friend. Point blank. Like my friends are my friends. I treat my friends like family. They treat me like family. I have friends I have people that think we're friends, but they're just acquaintances, but that's on them. They'll know if they ask to spend the night in my house and I tell them no, that means you're not my friend. But I think boundaries are set within trust, right? I think it has something to do with trust. Like you have your boundaries based on how much you trust somebody or something, right? So if you don't trust your husband or your wife, then you're gonna be like, nah, I can't have company. But if you trust them 100%, you're like, yeah, I don't care. That's not even crossing your mind, and it's not even in your friend. Also, if you trust your friend, that's not gonna cross your mind, or you just don't trust the situation. Some people think like if two people are in situations, something's just bound to happen. Like that's the third option. Like I don't believe that. I think if two people want to do something, they're going to do something. Whether they spend the night at your house or go get a hotel room or do it in a car, this is just going to happen. So, I just wouldn't. I never. My wife can have friends spend the night. I can have friends spend the night. And if I ever thought something like that would happen, I just wouldn't be married. Because I mean, I'm not about to live my life like I can't have my friends around my wife because she might be attracted to them or they might be. I don't know. I just can't get down like that. That's kind of like a messed up way of thinking. I think a person kind of go crazy. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, they couldn't live a normal life. They couldn't have normal friends. I couldn't even call my friends if I thought like that. So no, I just couldn't do it. Like it's just not making any sense to me.
Yeah. And I would imagine or think that most women wouldn't want, and you never know. People can surprise you. I think Cannon kind of mentioned this. You never know. Like people
Yeah.
betray friends all the time, right?
Mhm.
And it could be that one friend you just would have never thought would have done that to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I just can't imagine like why a person would want to be friends or call themselves a friend to somebody that they think would actually be with their man. Like it's like, you know,
I think her now that you brought up her infidelity issues, I think it's more so of that her trying to be, you know, when you go through something like that where you have a rift in your marriage for whatever reason, there's a point where you hold the other person accountable, but there's also a point where you instantly think, okay, how can I make this better? How can I make this better? How can I make this better? That might be what she's going through, you know. Not defending her or anything, but that might be if you want your marriage to work, and you think, okay, if I don't want him to cheat, I don't need to set up potential situations for him to cheat in. Hey,
you going out for girls' night and setting up the potential situation. You going out with your friends for 3 days.
I'm just. How long she been married? Maybe what? Maybe have they made the 3-year mark yet?
oh,
Have they
wow,
made 3
they've been
years?
married longer.
I understand exactly. I
Is it
understand
longer?
exactly.
They've been together more than 3 years.
I understand exactly what Miss Jovo is
I'm
saying.
just saying,
Like,
in your head, because
especially
yeah,
if they've had previous infidelity issues, and if she's gonna stay with her husband to work it out, for her that could be a simple, you know. At least I know he's not gonna be cheating under my
Comfort.
roof with my friend. You know what I'm saying? Like that,
she
like
might
that,
have
like
that
that's not
simplistic
gonna
thought.
happen. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just like, this is something I do have
And I
control
would think
over.
it would.
So I'm gonna control that part. You know?
I think it would tear
Right.
a wedge. I think it would tear a wedge in the friendship or the marriage if my friend asked to spend the night, he was in town or whatever. He was like, "Man, can I spend the night? I need a place to stay. I'm gonna be in town for 2 days. Do this, do that." And I'd be like, "Nah." And this is a good friend. I'd be like, "Nah." He know I got a guest room and stuff like that. Just be like, "No." If that was me and my friend told me no, I'd be like, he must not be my friend. You know what I'm saying? I'm in town. I need a place to stay. Let me know, because he and it's not like nothing bad, but I'm gonna be thinking in my head like, man, and if that's the reason, because like, you know, we got boundaries in our house, we don't allow, you know, the opposite sex to stay because, you know, things might happen, and I just want to make sure things don't happen. In my head, I'm thinking like, what you mean things might happen? What you think I try to pull something with your wife? You know what I'm saying? Like, like you gotta explain this to me, bro. Like what your wife cheat on you?
Right? No, because where does it end? What about cousins?
You can
Cousins
trust
can't come
me.
over, they the opposite sex. Then what? Where does
What
it
if
end?
it's a general blanket boundary though?
Right.
That's like for everybody. Which
Well, see, this is what I was gonna say about. I just manage my expectations when it come to people. I think the older I get, I don't think nothing surprised me no more, even with friends and family. Like, I'm in a place where if I told you, no, you can't come stay this weekend, the old me, I would have gave you 2 paragraphs on what I got going on in my house this weekend, and that's the reason why you can't stay. New me, no, you can't stay this weekend.
This the weekend I'm here.
And then I'm just not explaining it. Like, I guess what I'm saying is we sometimes expect, and that goes back to boundaries again. I got certain friends where I know they're gonna explain to me why they couldn't be here for X, Y, and Z. And like I said, when I met in my life, I'm like, okay, cool, you know, I hear you. Then I got friends who they ain't gonna be there and they ain't gonna give me no explanation and reason as to why. And I'm cool with that too, because we sometimes feel like people owe us, and that's where you got to really be definitive with certain relationships and friendships you got in your life. Like my girls, the 7 women that I've talked about in several different posts, it's 7 key women in my life. I know I could call one of them chicks right now, and if I had COVID or if I had this or that, I had this going on, they're gonna come over here, cook for my family, they're gonna help me out, they're gonna do what they need to do. Out of all the friends I've had, those the key 7, I call them the inner circle, and then I call my family the core. I got layers. It's, people be like, it shouldn't be layers to it. Yeah, it's layers to my stuff. I'm sorry, it's levels.
No, yeah,
it's levels to this. Like it's levels to Miss Jovo. Like everybody ain't got access to Miss Jovo in all the same way. I have to explain that with some of my friends when it comes to my husband. Like, say for instance, Cannon invites me out to a matinee movie tomorrow afternoon, and we make plans to go. And you know, Mr. Mosley just like, babe, I had something come up real important. I really need your help on X, Y, and Z, or this came up for us. We need to. I'm gonna be like, hey, Cannon, can we reschedule? Because that's just me, and I'm gonna do it. And if she's like, oh, so you gonna flake on me for your man, I'm gonna be like, no, I'm rescheduling because my husband needs me. And see, that's the other narrative that some women ain't ready to talk about.
See, I'm the total opposite. I think friends do owe each other. They owe each other friendship, and they owe each other communication to keep being friends. Like, you just can't.
Yeah, I think you need to clarify the.
You just can't be telling me stuff.
I think you need to clarify
friendship
the
like
distinction.
we have.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Define it. You got to define where these people are in your life and who you need to explain to what.
Yeah. When he say friends, he don't just call everybody his friends. Like that's
right.
He say friends, he mean like they like my family, like my friends.
Yeah, acquaintances and people like acquaintances. Yeah, I don't owe them no. If I hung out with you a couple of times and you pop in town and you be like, hey, bro, you know, something happened. I ain't got the funds for whatever the case may be. Can I crash at your crib? Nah, I don't even know why you asking me that.
Right, because I don't know you like that.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be comfortable with saying no. I don't trust you. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know you like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I never got a chance to really know you like that because I didn't care for you. So I don't even know why you think it's cool for you to even ask me that. Like.
And we're adults. We should be able to have that conversation. Like, I don't know you enough for me to do X, Y, and Z for you.
Or like a friend,
or to
a friend. I would think I owe them an explanation if they came in and they needed a place to stay. I would, because they're my friend. I might need a place to stay when I go, and I don't want them to be like, nah, he don't trust me, so I don't trust him. Because that's how it's gonna go. If your friend thinks you don't trust them, guess what? That trust is gone. I'm not about to trust nobody that don't trust me, because in my back of my head, I'm thinking anything I say to them, they don't trust it anyway. So why should I trust them in their reactions and stuff like that? So that's what I mean. Like I owe it to them so the friendship can stay a friendship and not, you know what I'm saying, part ways, because like that trust, it's a thin line between trust, right? And if you make your friend feel a certain way just because, you know, your boundaries or whatever, and you got a right to have boundaries, but at the same time, if you cherish that friendship, you know, you gotta like I feel like you owe it to them to be like, yeah, you know, I talked to the wife, you know, and you know, we just came to an agreement that, you know, we just not gonna spend a night. I hope you understand, bro. You know, I got you, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just gonna be like, nah, you can't spend the night. That's just that.
One issue that I'm sorry, Darren. I feel y'all. One issue that we aren't really touching on though is the treatment of your husband. Like, and I'm not explaining this very well, so I'm going to read a comment that one of our supporters, Reggie, hey Reggie, if you're watching, he put on a post that I shared in our group chat. And I'll read this post. He says, why in the world are men treated like little randy dandy paraplegics that are incapable of curbing their rogering enthusiasms? Now y'all have to go on an all out crusade to protect them from temptation? ? Laugh. Something has to break. And I get that sentiment, because when I read that too, I'm just kind of like, man, like now I get boundaries. Whenever I do get married, of course, I'm going to have certain boundaries. Like you all have boundaries, right? But it's like, when do you start to cross the line of treating your husband as though he's incapable of controlling?
Are we really confused about where that comes from, though?
Okay, because y'all said the church, and I'm like, purity culture. What is happening here? This is purity culture. culture all over again.
It's
I
all
mean,
about.
I just want y'all to talk about it. Go ahead.
Come on now, it's purity culture. The women are the temptress. They're the gatekeepers to sex. He can't possibly. Come on now, what? They
That's
gotta
everything
stop
that
it.
tells us
No.
that. That's what I'm saying. Everything they say it
You
out
know
their
where it
own
came
mouth.
from.
They be acting so crazy, like I need control myself. Man gonna have sex. Like, what do you mean? Where does that come from? We know where that come from.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah. That's why I said if your husband gonna do it, he's gonna do it. Whether it's this girl or the girl at Starbucks. Come on now.
And I had a guy tell me recently. I had a guy tell me recently on Facebook within the last 2 days that my husband has cheated on me. I just don't. I just don't know it. He really good at hiding it, because all men gonna engage in that type of behavior. People
Okay, so
kill
what's the
me.
point telling me then? What's the point? If he's such a good cheater and I'm not, like, what did you gain by telling me this? What was the point?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
just
But I think
Exactly.
his
yourself in
point
the foot. It doesn't
was
make sense.
just that. Like, there are some men who are capable. Well, I think all men are, but there are some men who are intentional and able to control themselves, right?
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't be tasked with trying to control what our husbands do or our boyfriends do.
Right.
Like, when we're not with them, like, they are very well capable of doing
Right.
what was right.
Right. This is I'm with Raven on that. Like, just painting this whole image of, like this woman in a red dress, who got little devil ears poking out a little bit underneath her beautiful hair, just coming to just take your man, because that's
And
what
they
we
do
do.
exist. There are women like that. We went to a restaurant. This lady came over here with this very full bosom, gave my husband, leaned it all over. I made this strong for you. Helpful, what about my drink? You made my drink strong? You didn't ask if I wanted my drink strong? They don't care whether it's your friend, somebody else. If your man is going, so the guys say, if he choosing, he's gonna choose. He's gonna choose whoever is throwing it at him.
I'm just saying.
Go out here and chase it.
Right.
So she working herself to death. I'm not doing it.
Right.
It's
But
too much
there
of things in the world to
are
worry about.
men who are very well capable, and I think all men are capable, but they choose to be faithful. And
Mhm.
it's like you trying to follow up after him. That's just crazy to me. Like,
Right.
how can you even function like that? And then
Right.
I imagine that some men probably start, I don't know, maybe they don't, I don't know. But I imagine that, when you start putting those types of, not necessarily this boundary, but you know how some women become when they're like super concerned that their husband is cheating or their significant other is cheating. They are like on alert and they are like patrolling, and I imagine it starts to feel, it starts to feel like you're trying to control them. So it's just unhealthy across the board.
I mean, I'm just at my house it's kind of the golden rule. Do unto me as you want me to do unto you. Like, it's just following intuition and instinct for me. Like, I'm always, and that's my biggest flaw as well. I'm always kind of just like behaving in a way in public, or thinking about, would I want my husband to do this too? Like, would I want him to say this? I try to be conscious most of the time, but yeah, they kill me with that whole, just I think Miss Sheard did what I think she said what she said, and she does what she does based off of her history with her husband. And if she want her marriage to work and she feel like that's what's gonna make it work, hey, more power to you. Try something until that don't work no more. Because people sometimes this is one of these situations where sometimes I think that you don't know what you would do until it's you, and then you just kind of an emotion.
Keep a man that don't want to be kept. If he
Right.
don't want to be with you, you can put up a million boundaries. If he like I said, it may not be her friends. She may not let them friends stay. They may go out having a good, great girl weekend, and he go bring somebody else over. You did all that for nothing. You might as well let your girl stay over.
And I don't know. And Ashley, did she kind of give explanation, like when she made the comment, or is just like, did she say it in an interview, or what was the circumstances in which she made that comment?
I didn't get the full context of that quote, but she did say that she learned from other women not to have too many people around your house, don't get comfortable. And then she said something about not knowing how much you could trust people. She says she's very mindful and careful.
See
So
that see
a
that
lot
that
about
spells
trust and
it's a
yeah.
story there. You know,
Yeah.
it's a story there. It's a
And
story
she
there.
only
And
said girlfriend, so it is kind of loose.
it
Girlfriends could
is.
be acquaintances.
Mhm.
It may not be your sister girl,
Right,
Um,
right. But again, it just supports that narrative of, you know, okay, women, especially black women, here is the 5,175th thing that you need to do as a black woman and as a wife to hold on to a man. And it's just like you can't keep nobody who don't want to be kept.
right. Well,
And
I can
and
speak to
and
those
you
That's
who don't
can't
have
keep
people around your
adults.
at
house.
the
You
end
can't
of
keep
the day.
adults.
I
At the
can
end of the
He,
understand.
day, they're gonna do what they want to do, regardless.
right. And you can't keep adults. You can't, these ain't like, national monuments and treasures you dusting off and oh my God, and he's mine and that's not what it is. They people. You can't keep folks. Like
And
people gonna make
I think
intentional
I heard
decisions.
somebody say it. I think Ashley said it, that you keep trying to do all of these things, then they just gonna feel controlled and just feel even more empowered and whatever to do whatever. So you might as
I
well
think
just
her marriage is going through growing
hang.
pains, and so is she as a wife. I think that she just going through growing pains, and she trying to figure out what to do next. That now that because
Okay.
who get married and think they're gonna get cheated on anyway? Nobody.
And how long they been married? Because this is a
So I
lot
looked
going
it
on.
up since December 2020, which is
This is too
scary, right?
much. No, this is too much. What happened
That's
to the
They
scary.
brand new.
annulments? Is it too late? This is too
They
much.
brand new, baby. They brand new, and and
He
probably
already,
what
he
and
already
probably
was
what happened, cause Raven, Raven, you already know, in the church, newly married, somebody done seen her tear up, or she done, as my grandmama would say, her slip done started to show, and baby, what's wrong? I can't. I don't know why he keeps doing X, Y, and Z. And then you raise a certain way, so what do they do? What do they do? Well, baby, this what you need to do. This what you need to do. And then they start listing out, like I said, the 5,175,000 thing that a black woman needs to do on top of everything else we supposed to be doing to quote
Right.
unquote keep a man. And it's just like, okay, that be the thing with me and the black church and marriage. And sometimes what some of these women be telling some of these young brides, like, you know, y'all go see a therapist.
Exactly.
Sister Johnson might have been married 60 years, and Sister
She was in an open
Johnson,
marriage for 52 of them.
right. I'm just saying.
But she didn't
So
get
it's,
benefits.
she might can give you some great advice on how to spice up stuff in the bedroom, but that whole, baby, you just need to endure and stay. And got you humming Negro spirituals when you ain't even been married for 2 years. It's just like,
Now, see, that's what I was going to say, because if this doesn't work out, you done cut off your whole support system like that. For some,
great point, Raven.
so that's why I was like, what happened? Can we do annulments? Can we go get some count? Because if this is what you're at the result of in 3 years, now if you
Yep.
said 15, 20, I'd be like, well, niggas get old. Oh, 3 years? No. Not
All
this
right, y'all. Let's go
Yeah.
ahead. We're gonna move on to the next topic. I am excited about this next topic. It might ruffle some feathers, and it can be a difficult conversation to have, a touchy conversation. But Zaya, meaning Dwayne Wade's and Gabrielle Union's daughter, well, son, who identifies as a young girl now, Zaya. He wore a jersey, Kobe Bryant's jersey, and some people had some things to say about it, and specifically Kwame Brown. I want to share my screen and play parts of what he said. And I want y'all to chime in and tell me what you think. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
But let's get into uh, Dwayne Wade and what he's allowing to happen in his household. And I don't like to speak about a man's child, so I'm going to speak about the man. And as a man, I don't think Dwayne Wade levels up as a man anymore. And that's just my opinion, brother Dwayne Wade. I don't think you level up as a man. You are letting your woman control your house. You played this thing called basketball. This is a game. Kobe Bryant's children are not honoring him by wearing a dress. Kobe Bryant's wife is not honoring him by wearing a dress. I don't think nobody else is honoring Kobe Bryant by wearing a dress. Kobe Bryant was a masculine man who, when on my shoulder, Kobe Bryant said, I don't give a damn, shoot it with your left hand, wheel it in. This man's mindset was golden. This man's mindset was, I can do anything. And guess where he came from, brother Dwayne? Out of high school. Kobe Bryant, there's not a one thing, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant and his daughter. But I understand the mindset that he probably was giving his children. Do you know how great his oldest daughter mentality probably was, having a daddy like Kobe Bryant? That the time that you want to give up, the time that you shoulder, the time that is this, he gonna come to you and say, hey, that the other shoulder work. That old school ancestral nature that Kobe Bryant had. People don't like to talk about that. They want to call him a mamba, but no, that was his ancestors. Kobe Bryant didn't give up on shit. And some people got rubbed the wrong way by that. Hell, even me at times. But how do you now honor a man with so much masculinity, so much since a teenager, that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me? Because that's some of the personal conversations that me and Kobe had. Through Christ, he believed he could do anything. Now, how does that tie in with a teenage kid who feels like he's a woman now? How does that tie in with him putting this man's jersey into a fucking dress?
All right, y'all. So that was the video of Kwame Brown sharing his thoughts on Zaya wearing the Kobe Bryant jersey as a dress. Who would like to chime in? Did he honor Kobe or not?
Man, Kwame Brown is a clown. Man, I don't even like, even if you knew Kobe Bryant, like how spiritual Kobe Bryant was smart. Kobe Bryant was very like well thought. He was like he was very, his mentality was like not like that of Kwame Brown's, for Kwame Brown be speaking about him. I think Kobe Bryant would have welcomed that that gesture. That's just what I think. For one, because he's much smarter than Kwame Brown. He's not going to be talking about what a man is and calling out people's sons and stuff like that. And Kwame Brown is like the worst type of guy that I hate, those type of guys who just think they just so much manlier than everybody else and try to prove it and try to tell somebody else how manly they are. I think he really want to fuck Kobe Bryant. Come to think about it, because he keeps talking. He's so masculine. Kobe Bryant's a How you know? What are you talking about? Like, he's so masculine. It just sounded kind of weird to me coming out of his mouth like that. But Kwame Brown's the same person who said that another man should not be talking about another man's, what another man got going on, and he shouldn't be opening his mouth to talk about another man. And here he goes doing it again. Same thing he criticized Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson for doing. Now he's doing it. So that right there in itself, he's letting us know that he's not even man based on his own definition. So he's a big hypocrite. Everything he said is like just so misogynistic that he's just trying too hard to be this man. Like, dude, calm down. Like, it's a dress, you know. And who is you to tell Dwayne Wade he not a man? Like, he got a whole wife. Where your wife at? Like, dude, what you talking about? He sit in his car all day talking about other niggas. I mean, other guys. So I think Dwayne Wade is very much a man. His kids are happy. His wife is happy. He ain't going around talking about you. He ain't on your mind like that. He ain't talking about all them goofy ass hats you wearing. You know, like it just trips me out how another man just be getting down on another black, and he want this black man like you. Look how you get down on your brother. Then he got a nerve to call him Dwayne brother. Like that's not your brother. The way you just talk about this man. You basically just saying he's not a man. You call him a woman, basically. Then just go call him your brother. Like, I'm pretty sure Dwayne Wade is not rocking with you. So stop trying to act like you giving some type of brotherly advice and like you just so concerned about this culture that you're not even a part of. Because quite frankly, like the NBA don't like you. Everybody talk about your ass NBA, and that's why you trying to go in on everybody in NBA. Cause you garbage. That's how I feel about the dude. Man, I
All
don't
right
like
now.
that dude.
Okay, we see.
Godly, oh.
What do y'all think? What do you think, Mrs. Understanding? What do you think?
I really think they blew this out of proportion. They act like he made a mural tongue kissing Kobe. It's just a dress. To say nobody else made a dress, that is ludicrous. Do you really think nobody else in the world has ever made a Kobe dress? Nobody else has made a Jersey Kobe dress. This is crazy. And it's just, why are you picking on this little trans girl? Like, of all the things to talk about, Boosie taking his child to a strip club every other weekend. But this right here is what we need to be focusing on. There's so many other issues we can be talking about right now.
And I'm
But
sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I ran it. But the real
Um,
issue is he's just homophobic. And
I
you
was
know,
gonna,
so
yeah,
we just
that's what
gonna
I was
call
gonna
it what it is.
say.
He's very homophobic because this has nothing to do with someone being a man. He's mad
Right.
because Dwayne's son has a dress on, and he's homophobic, and he don't want to say that. But he just showed everybody how homophobic he is. This has nothing to do with Kobe Bryant's masculinity and what Kobe's daughters would wear or his wife would wear. You homophobic. And you
Exactly.
mad that you had to see a boy in a dress. So now you want to talk about his father. He's very homophobic, and that's just what it is. And I hope he gets some backlash about it. He the one who need to be muted because he didn't step up and call, like you said, Boosie a bad father. He ain't step up and call Future a bad father. He ain't step up and call all these guys. He ain't step up and call the dude that was
Nick Cannon,
throwing his
baby
wife
number
around a
47.
bad father. He ain't step up and call out none of these
Zach
guys.
Stacy. Yeah,
But he's
that's
stepping
true.
up trying to call Dwayne Wade a bad father because his son had a dress on. He's very homophobic. So we just gonna
And I
call it what
find
it is.
it interesting that he assumes that the house is being ran by the woman, as
Yes.
though he even really knows. Like I know that Gabrielle Union is very supportive of Zaya, but I hear this a lot from men. They assume that if there's a young boy that you know doesn't dress a certain way, doesn't dress in the masculine way, doesn't, or identifies as a lady or a girl, that it must be the woman that is leading the home. And it's like you don't even know what the woman thinks, what the woman feels about it. You're just indicting the woman and the man, saying that the woman must be leading and the man must be weak. And you really don't even know. It's like anything that they don't like it always comes back to the woman. Oh, the woman must be doing that. The woman is leading the house. And it's like, it's to me that in and of itself just shows a lack of accountability for your own household. It's like, oh, if it's bad, it must be because the woman's not. I mean, because the man's not there, or the woman's leading the house, or whatever, and the man is just weak, and it's just so crazy. But I also wanted to point out that I think, well, I'll save this point because I wanted to hear what Jovo has to say.
Yeah, he's homophobic. That's all that is. Homophobic. And I'm on another note. I'm tired of sports figures who were worth millions and billions of dollars when they were playing, and now that they worth like $2 billion or 1 million or half a million, they want to come on these platforms talking about people like Dwayne Wade and acting like they know these folks on a personal level because y'all play in the same league. You know nothing. You don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. He's homophobic. That is simply what it is. And he said something about Kobe's daughters, something about they didn't even wear a dress with his name. if he knows so much, he would know that during the times where the Lakers were winning championships and stuff. Like I know of one picture where Vanessa and the girls are wearing little cute Lakers gear in the form of a dress. It was like a jersey dress. I don't see the issue here. Like what's your beef with Dwayne Wade? What's your beef with a boy who chooses to express himself in a certain way? Like I don't understand it. Like it's 2022, and what people need to come to realize is that for the most part you have 0% control over what other people do. Like shut up. Like if you want to just get likes up for your platform, Kwame Brown, just say that. Okay, I
We need to
respect you
stop
better.
idolizing these men. They just
It's just
not to say
crazy.
it's just basketball, because I
Ju-
see they have other
it's
influences
crazy.
outside just basketball.
It's
But Kwame
crazy.
is acting like Kobe was a politician or a philosopher.
Exactly.
Hey,
Exactly.
hey, hey now. Hey now,
No, I'm
God
not.
damn it.
I'm not trying to say basketball wasn't. He doesn't have other influences outside of basketball. I'm just saying, he was speaking in such high esteem. You would assume this man was a world changing philosopher or something like that.
You know
Well,
what?
the
You know
thing is
what?
this.
People like to say a lot of things that they don't know, so they put fluff on it. He probably didn't know Kobe Bryant from a can of paint. I'm just saying, because if he really knew, just like what Darwin was saying, not to cut you off, Darwin, but just like you were saying before, like to really understand Kobe Bryant as a leader, as a businessman, as a father, I could tell you what he won't do. He's not going to talk about accountability and then start pointing fingers at somebody else. So if you know Kobe Bryant so well, why not practice what he was preaching? Why you doing the opposite? He Everything Kobe had to say about life, about sports, about anything, okay, especially after that incident between him and his wife, everything you want to know about Kobe Bryant, he left it on the court. That's it. He homed his craft. That's what he did. Unlike Kwame Brown, who I guess he homed another craft, which is I'm trying to get these lights up. What you talking about? That's what I want to ask him.
What were you gonna say, Darwin? And then I'm
Yeah.
going to ask something. I agree that homophobia is in a part of this.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think there's something else that we haven't mentioned yet. But Darwin, I know you wanted to add something.
Um, yeah, I think we ain't touched on his insecurity as a man. He's very insecure as a man. But I want to talk about. I just want to tip my hat off to Dwayne Wade, right? I think he's one of the greatest examples of a father I've ever seen in sports or whatever. Because just from personally, if I have to go through what he went through, I don't know how well I would be able to handle that. I don't even know if I would be able to put my feelings aside to make sure my son is living his best life or doing whatever he wanted to be called at the time. But I think what Dwayne Wade is doing is very commendable, and I mean I just tip my hats off to him. That brother right there is just doing things, and I guarantee you, he's changing the mindsets of a lot of men that follow him and look up to him, and that's what we need out here is for people in his position to start doing things like this to open up people's mind so everybody can live the life that they want to live. I know his father's probably out here that's treating their gay sons differently now that they see that it's okay, and that these celebrities is making it okay for the world to see that it is okay. And I just wanted to say that about Dwayne Wade, and I just think he's an awesome guy. I love their relationship. I love how they handling the situation. They're not letting anybody deter them from what the ultimate goal of how they want to raise their family, and they standing on what they say and do. And I just think it's awesome. They living how they want to live.
Okay. I think that you make me think a lot about, I'm sorry, Ken, I know you haven't weighed in, but I think what I see is that, a lot of Black men feel that society tries to emasculate them. They talk a lot about how they're trying to get rid of masculinity in the Black community. And I think that response comes from not wanting to be seen as what they think is less masculine. And as opposed to kind of stepping out of something that does not even pertain to you and stop making this one situation that concerns a family about all of Black men, he made it like a personal thing. It's like he was trying to defend masculinity for Black men, not Kobe Bryant's honor, but for Black men. Like, no, I'm sick of seeing Black boys in dresses, and I don't like this and I don't like that. And that's his right, right? But there's such a concern that Black men are from them. There's such a concern that masculinity is being taken away from them, or they're not being portrayed to be masculine. And we see that in media. But then it's like, okay, so so that means that you have to take away other people's right to be who they are because you want to protect what you think is masculine. Like, it's just such a unhealthy, toxic response that we got.
Babe, what I call guys like that who feel like someone can take their masculinity away. Like, you's already the B word. Can't no one make me feel less of a man by looking at something else or so like that. Don't make no sense to me. You just not man. You just not the man you thought you were. If someone can make you feel less of a man, you not the man you thought you were. So stop it. Bow down to whoever just made you feel that way and accept it because you just not a man that you thought you were.
Yeah. This is I think that a lot of what you said is probably accurate. But a lot of it is therein lies the problem, and there is where the ignorance comes from. It's just so much. It's like, if you can say that gay people or trans people or whatever only existed amongst Black men, then maybe you could say that. Or just at this point in time in history, then maybe you can say that. But for as long as we've had recorded history, we know that there are humans that can be attracted to the same sex. There are animals that could be attracted to the same sex for whatever reason. Who knows? But the thing is that when you have this distorted view of what you believe masculinity to be, therein lies the problem. That's why, to Darwin's point, you get a situation where when everything is hypersexual, when Black men are hypersexualized, it's not a problem, right? When they're seen as having 50 million children all over the place, that's not a problem. When their manhood is tied to their sexual prowess, that's not an issue because that's a man, right? But if it's anything that takes away from that, then it's threatening. It's like that's not what being a man is about, and that's what the main problem is. That's why we having all of these millions of low vibrational ass conversations about stupid shit that all goes back to and revolves around sex. When we really break down all of these topics and all of this shit that we be talking about, it all be going back to something to do with sex. That's all what it's about. And the Black men or the men or whatever wanting to have as much sex as they can, whatever. Like, it always goes back to that. And as long as that's where it's sitting, then it's cool. Like, because that's a man. I'm a man now, of course, because, and it's like, that's not what makes you a man. And it's like, when you think about the situation when he wants to say that Dwayne Wade is not being a man and not leaving his house, my question continues to be, what is the alternative, right? There are things that exist, like there is gay conversion therapy, right? Which is abuse. There's all of these things that can happen. Like, that's why you have such high incidence of suicide in those communities, right? You have people being disowned by their families and all of these types of things. They got to create whole new families to get accepted and to find, because their families disown them simply because of who they are. They ain't kill nobody. People support murderers in jail. Families will stick by freaking people who have murdered people, but find out somebody is gay and disown them. Like, what is the alternative? What are you saying? Like, what would you want when Dwayne Wade found out about that? What were you expecting him to do? What are you saying that he's supposed to do? What do you want to see him do? We're not in these people's house. And I said a million times, I'm sure, especially this society that we live in, and especially the way that we're socialized and how we feel, I'm sure that was a tough pill for this man to swallow. But the question is, what was he supposed to do at that point? Keep just being like, nah, you go and smack the boy around or something and be like, you're gonna do, like, what are you supposed to do as a parent? And what I see is a parent who put their child first, like we say parents are supposed to do, that prioritize the well-being of their child the way that we say parents are supposed to do. What I see is a man who was man enough to stand out and stand out front of something, like I said, that was going to be very embarrassing, very difficult, very hard to explain, get a lot of pushback, a lot of different things. But he chose to not only accept his son as his daughter, which his son wants to present as now. So now that's what she is, that's her pronouns, right? He accepted that. Then not only that, but he chose to step out front and make an example for other people who may be going through that same thing. And that's not the easiest thing to do. And if you can't look at that and say that that's a man and that's what shows a man, but you think that a man is somebody who just, like I said, runs people and tells people what to do, then that's why you messed up. Like, that's why you have a messed up idea of what that actually means. Like, being a man, being a leader, doing stuff like that, that is the person who steps out and does things that aren't popular, does things that nobody else has done, and stands on principle, and actually protects their family, and actually supports their family. Like, that's a man. So it's like, for you to sit here and just be like, that's not a man because, and you did this, and it's like, it's just crazy to me. I just keep trying to figure out in people's brains, like, what would they expect the alternative to be? Like, once this man found this out about his child, what did you expect him to do at that point in your mind? What would be satisfactory to you?
When I hear about these types of stories, I always go back to when I was 23 years old. I first had my son. He just started walking. He went to the store, and you know them big bouncy balls, they like $3 in Walmart. I told him go get a ball. He went and got a pink one. I took the ball. I said, no, go get another color. You know, he went and got a pink one again. And so in my mind, I'm looking like, oh, this is a problem. You know, like me as a 23-year-old trying to become the man that I want to be, and raise my son the way I wanted to raise him. I felt like it was like a crime if I was to let him get a pink ball. And he went and got the pink ball again. I took the ball. I'm in Walmart, middle Walmart. I took the ball and I threw the ball as far as I can. I say, you ain't getting no damn pink ball. Get a blue ball. And I just look back at that moment and I just see how ignorant I was. And I actually thought I was making my son not be gay at that moment. Like, yeah, I just, and I just think about all these things that these guys think they doing. Like, you're not about to stop nobody from being gay or straight. Like, it's just not about to happen. Like, I cannot, if my son was going to be gay, it's nothing I could have done. If he would, and it's no color that could have made him gay or straight. So these guys that think they got the answer to how someone's supposed to stop their kid from being gay, I just think they're very ignorant. And at a certain age and with all the knowledge and information that we have, you just going to stay ignorant. Like, I don't understand it. Like, people just refuse to like grow and educate themselves, and they want to stay ignorant.
It's the Hotep community.
Huh?
It's the Hotep community.
Exactly.
The Afrocentric, this is how our ancestors did it. Hoorah, get the ankh and the fist up. This is what they preach. This is literally the Dr. Umar handbook.
Because the same guys I talk about that I hate, I used to be that guy. Like, all the misogynistic things that's going on right now, all this woman bashing stuff, all this woman that I used to be that guy. So I see how bogus it was. With a little growth and with a little help and understanding, I was able to grow into this person to see like that all that stuff was dumb and meaningless. Like, it's nothing I was doing back then that was meaningless and that's contributing to a healthy way of life. And I don't understand why these grown 50-year-old men is still doing the same thing and still getting the same results that they get, and they not changing their ways.
Enslavement of the mind. That's what it is. It's enslavement of the mind.
80 years old, and he's gonna die alone.
Yeah. If Kwame Brown,
I hope he got a gay nurse taking care of him too.
if Kwame Brown wanna really help men be men in their household, Kwame Brown, aren't you married for a second time? Talk about what choices are you making right now in your current marriage that can help somebody out. To talk to your brothers about spreading sperm all across the world, and then in the same mouth talk about how black women need to be held accountable. Talk to some of them. Don't come talking to us about somebody wearing a dress with Kobe Bryant name on it. Please don't, because just like Cannon said, it's so many other issues. So many other issues. And all of this, it does stem back. To me, it stems back to slavery, it stems back to sex, just that enslavement of the mind that just keeps getting passed from generation to generation to generation. That's what it is. That's what it is. They enslaved us, they captured us, they conquered us, and it's always a few. Well, that's what a man looked like. They took over, and look how much influence they had over us. Oh, I'm gonna do the same thing, and it's crazy. It's crazy. I commend Dwayne Wade too, because that's not an easy situation to navigate, and he did what a parent should do. You stick by your kids. That's what you do. But of
Just
course,
like
Kwame Brown will say that he ain't addressing none of these black men who ain't sticking by their kids. They know how to make kids. They don't know how to stick by them though. Talk about that on your show. Talk about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting, y'all. We had a good one. Is there
Mhm.
anybody who wants to close this topic out with something that we didn't touch base on? Any last
I'll just
thoughts?
say that. Oh,
Kwame
okay.
Brown was a bust as a number 1 pick in the NBA.
And I'm mad that he from Georgia, like Brunswick, Georgia, to be exact. So I'm mad about that. Like
He goes down
I
in history as Michael Jordan's biggest disappointment. So
yep,
he feel a certain way about himself.
he
He feels
do.
a certain way about himself. Like that, Michael Jordan handpicked him to be
Yep,
like this number 1 student out of high school, and he was a bust, and everybody knows it. He has low self-esteem, and
yep,
look how he trying to treat his brother Dwayne Wade. Like, dude, stop it. Get out of here. You trash.
yep, yep, yep.
All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Thank you. I love commentary from you all. We have some differences, but some good stuff. I hope that everyone who is watching learned something. Hope you laughed a little bit. Hopefully we gave you all some things to think about. We are here every Tuesday at 7:15. Every Tuesday, y'all, 7:15. You gotta share. Tap that like button and hit the share button. Share it with your friends, your family. Share it on Facebook, Instagram. Let everybody know about us, because we got some good topics, some good things to say, and way more in store.
Yay.
I'm excited,
Good
y'all.
night.
Yep.
Good night, y'all.
Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody.